Welcome back to the School of HardKnox podcast. On this week's show, we're talking about how to combat self-doubt. We all deal with it. It's gonna come. But what do we do about it? It is time to get on the bus because class is in session. This is episode 155 of the School of HardKnox podcast, and it starts now. Thank you for listening to the School of HardKnox podcast. This show is about personal development for business success. Not only do we tell the stories of successful people in order to create more successful people, we want to help you turn your thoughts and ideas into reasonable, rational, and profitable action. This show is about my life experiences, your life experiences, and how we can work together to become the best versions of ourselves. Prepare to be inspired, motivated, and most importantly, challenged. Enjoy the show. Welcome back to the School of HardKnox podcast. That's right. We're back. Nah, that camera ain't doing nothing. I just didn't have anywhere else to put it. Oh, man. So listen, last week, I know some of y'all was wondering where School of HardKnox podcast was, and that's okay. I'm glad you was wondering because that means you missed me, hopefully. I missed me. Man, last week was like what I like to consider, or what we're going to call like a teacher in-service day, right? Last week was one of those random days off that you get in school that nobody knows what the teachers are actually doing. They call it like professional development or in-service or whatever. I just decided to take last week off. And that's just where I'm at. That's where I'm at in life, man. That's where I'm at in life. I didn't go anywhere. I just made a conscious decision to say, hey, you know what? It's no pod this week. Period. But what that also did was it gave me almost 2 weeks to really think about topics and really think about what I felt like you guys needed to hear. And over those 2 weeks, I struggled to really try to figure out what to talk about. And it really just hit me, to be honest. It just hit me earlier today. And then just kind of confirming what I'm going to talk about, reading through some of the affirmations that I live by. I want to take a step back. I think we tend to get ahead of ourselves a little bit, right? I know we talked about excuses and we talked about all kind of stuff over the past couple months. But what I wanted to talk about is something that I think we all deal with or dealt with or are currently struggling with, and that's doubt. So I want to talk about doubt, right? And again, this is not like a continuation of what we've been talking about. This is kind of taking a step back and kind of thinking about the things that were holding me back personally, but I feel like doubt is a huge piece of the puzzle when you're trying to accomplish something. And I think the doubt part is probably one of the strongest emotions that we encounter. And it's probably one of the biggest things that we have to defend ourselves against. And it's not the doubt of other people doubting you, right? Because sometimes it can be pretty easy to shut those doubters off. It's actually the doubt that you have that originates from yourself, which is tough, right? When you think about a goal or you think about something that you're trying to accomplish, and all you can really think about in those moments is the what ifs, or the, man, like, am I capable? Am I equipped? Am I built for this? All of those intrusive thoughts that come in that chip away at the momentum, that chip away at the idea of what it means for you to succeed or for you to accomplish a goal. I mean, personally speaking, I deal with self-doubt on a daily basis, and it's not deep the way that I deal with it, right? It's not like, oh man, is this business going to work? Or it's not even that deep. It could be self-doubt if I know that I'm going to design a system or to go actually perform an install on a system. I may have a little bit of self-doubt that says, hey man, do you really know what you're doing? Like, you haven't done this in a long time, or you've only done this once or twice and you don't know the scenario and you don't know the environment. Like, man, like, Are you capable of this? Is this going to turn out to be a disaster? I can't tell you the amount of times that I'm scheduled to do something for a client. It could be something as simple as hanging a TV, hooking up a network, installing some speakers. It could, just simple stuff. I can't tell you the amount of times that I pull in somebody's driveway, and before I ring that doorbell, I say to myself, "Self, so what we gonna do?" Because believe it or not, a lot of the things that I'm asked to do, a lot of the things that I quote, I've never done before. That's just the nature of this business. It's custom. So no two jobs are the same. And to be quite honest, there's been a lot of scenarios that I'm walking into blind. I really don't know what I'm up against. And that doubt creeps in. So again, for me, it's like superficial doubt. But I've not always dealt with superficial doubt. I've also had to deal with kind of the introspective doubt as well. The deeper doubt, right? The doubt that'll have you up at night. The doubt that'll have you questioning your whole existence on your relationships, your social status, your professional ability, right? I mean, some people would call this imposter syndrome. I think that's a common term that is a derivative of doubt. Is imposter syndrome, when you don't feel like you deserve or you've earned or you have the credentials to be in certain rooms or certain conversations. I've definitely been there. Even now, you know, as a business owner, entrepreneur, whatever you want to classify it as, you know, there's not a daily corporate affirmation or daily corporate justification of what I do. Right. So when I worked for example, when I worked for Sony, I could put on the Sony shirt, the Sony polo shirt, walk into a client's office, and I had instant credibility because they knew I worked for Sony. I had on the shirt. I may have brought some product. I had this multi-billion-dollar machine that was behind me, right? Called Sony that was backing me up, that was vouching for me. And I don't necessarily have that same apparatus. I don't have that same apparatus now, right? I have to create the credentials. I have to create the affirmation. I have to create it on the fly. And there's been a few times where I've been in rooms or I've been in front of clients where imposter syndrome did creep in and a little bit of doubt did creep in. And those things are like handcuffs, man. Doubt is like handcuffs. Doubt will have you supposed to be knocking on a client's door to perform a task. It'll have you sitting in the car and just thinking, right? Or it'll have you walking around the hardware. It'll have me walking around Home Depot buying stuff I think I might need for this project. I'm talking about like, man, I might need this drill bit. I might need this type of screwdriver. I might need, because I don't know. And that's that doubt. It just comes in and it grows. I seen a commercial, actually, it was part of a YouTube video. It was about nostalgic things for kids who grew up in the 90s. And one of the things it was saying that doesn't exist anymore, or is hard to find at least, that I remember commercials for all the time was a Chia Pet. Remember Chia Pets? And the concept of the Chia Pet was like, it was like this little clay figurine, and you rub this like muddy slurry all over this thing, and then you spray water on it, and then it like a plant grows out of these little, it was the oddest thing. But that's what self-doubt is like. It's like not here today, fully formed and fully effective tomorrow. You can go to bed with confidence and wake up with a huge amount of doubt. And it will shift your entire day, your entire week. Some may say it would shift your entire mindset about what you're trying to do. So I just, again, I want to talk about this, and I think we already are. How do we deal with doubt, right? How do we press forward when doubt is on the table? We're the originators of it. Again, we're not talking about outside doubt today. We're talking about the introspective doubt. How do we clamp down? How do we suppress that and move forward? So first thing that comes to mind, and again, this is off the cuff. Like I don't have any notes per se pertaining to this, but I'm speaking from experience, 100%. Lack of a better term, the proof is in the pudding. Like, I don't know how else to describe it. Like, one of the best things that happens to me on a regular basis, and this is just because of my line of work and what I do, and I think my wife can probably identify with this too, is the simple concept of completion, right? So the way that I work, the way that my business is set up and our transactions and projects are set up, I see a project from imagination to completion / functionality. I see the entire thing through. And when you sit down with a client for the first time, or you walk through a new construction house with a client for the first time, and they tell you all their wants, their needs, their dreams, their aspirations as far as their technology in their new home, and then you go back to the drawing board and you figure out the nuts and bolts of it, what has to go here, what cables need to be ran here, so on and so forth. You design the system, all the components. You put everything on a quote. You send it to them. You guys go back and forth. You play the game. Take this off. Add this. Too high. Too low. So on. So then finally you get a signature. Then it's time to execute. You install. You program. You test. Then you teach the client how to use it, and then you walk away. That process eliminates doubt for me all the time. And I'm blessed that process is in place, because a lot of individuals, especially like, in the corporate setting, like how I used to do, was everything was based off of quarters or halves or years. And then it reset every single time. Right. So instead of being able to build off the momentum as they advertise that you're supposed to be able to have a great quarter, build off of that, have a great second quarter, build off of that, so on and so forth. It's not really like that. You really start from zero every quarter. And it's more of a what have you done for me lately mindset than it is look at this guy, he's a star. But I digress. That's another episode. I have the ability now to build off of my success, right? To build off of my completions. There's nothing like turning on the system for the first time, testing it, playing around with it, and handing it over to the client as a functioning system. That feeling that I get when I do that's one of the reasons I do what I do is because I get that gratification such regularly. But that gratification eliminates doubt, because every single time I do something, especially if I'm able to accomplish something that I've never done before, to do a system that I've never done before, to do a concept that I've never done before, a design, whatever. Every time I do that, it gives me more juice, gives me more momentum, gives me more confidence. And confidence is the opposite of doubt. So confidence suppresses doubt. Now, we got episodes way, way back talking about false confidence and confidence killers. So you can go back and find those. But the reality of all of this is, when I'm able to see something to completion, that helps eliminate doubt. And I know my wife is in the same scenario, and her gratification comes even more frequently, right? Because somebody will sit down and correct me if I'm wrong, CC. Somebody will sit down in your chair, and you've had these clients where, let's just say it's a child. The parent doesn't know what to do with the hair, right? The parent's been struggling. The hair's in disarray. Could be dirty, could be matted, could be tangled. And at the end of a couple hours after that service, when you're finished, you get the gratification of completion and a happy client, right? Which at the beginning of that transaction, or the beginning of that process, you had doubt. Am I lying? You had doubt, right? Like, you was like, yo, I'm not sure I can even. But you did, and as you went, the confidence grew, and okay, this is manageable. Okay, I can do this. So what I'm trying to say is the very first thing that you can do to squash doubt is complete something. Right? The very first thing that you can do is actually complete something. Like, get into the process. Yes, because it gives you confidence for the next time. Right? So, well, not only does it give you confidence for the next time, being in the process gives you confidence for that process. Like as you go, you know what I'm saying? It builds the confidence that you need to squash the doubt. Right? So that's the first thing. Is get in the process and complete something. The second thing I would say off rip, that you can do to combat self-doubt is every time those emotions come up, you need to draw back on past experiences of what you were able to be successful at. Okay? So if I'm getting clever with this thing, first thing you do is look forward, meaning you're looking towards a completed project or you're looking towards a completed action. The second thing you want to do is look back, which is take inventory of the successes that you've had in that area, similar successes. Look back on those and draw confidence out of those situations. I think especially when we're moving so fast and life is moving so fast, we forget how sweet some of us actually are. Like we do. Like, okay, Cecilia's been a business owner for 11 years now, right? I'm sure she doesn't, 12, my bad. I'm sure she doesn't remember every single client in year 5, right? She doesn't remember every single one, but she can draw back on clients and be like, man, I cannot believe that I did that. Or she can look at pictures on her website and realize, I can't believe I did that. And when you draw back on those past successes, when you bring those back into your remembrance, you can actually help to squash the self-doubt because now you're like, hey, I did it before. It's been a while, but I know how to do that. I just gotta get into it. I just gotta start. Right? So again, look forward to the process and to the successes. Look back at the past successes and the past progress. And then the third thing I would say about combating self-doubt is to literally fight it. Right? So when you feel those emotions coming up, that's when the affirmations come into play. That's when you have to game yourself. That's when you got to, as they say, psych myself up. That's when you got to give yourself a pep talk. And you cannot sit in self-doubt, because if you sit in self-doubt, it's going to turn into ultimately failure. Yeah. If you sit in self-doubt, you probably won't even start. Right? So let's go back to my scenario. If I'm sitting in somebody's driveway and I'm supposed to go in and I'm supposed to install something, if I sit in that self-doubt and I go into their house with no confidence, right? Because I sat in self-doubt, I go into the house, no confidence, no plan, I'm probably going to fail. That's just the way of it. Probably going to fail, right? When we start talking about sitting in self-doubt, we have to use that time to do what I would say is number 4, which is plan. I think most people can eliminate most self-doubt if they just come up with a plan. If you just come up with a strategy on what you're trying to do, if you create the steps to the steps, if you get really granular with the details like we talk about all the time, I think you can combat self-doubt. Because if you got a strategy, if you got a plan, you follow that, all roads should lead to success. So here's what we're going to do real quick. We're going to hear from Crown Kids, and then we're going to come back and we're going to wrap this thing up.
Knox Nation, quick question. When was the last time you got a break and your kids got their hair done right? That's what we help you do at Crown Kids Healthy Hair Care Salon. Clean parts, healthy hair routines, and a team that knows how to keep kids calm, comfortable, and confident. Yes, we even help our sensory-sensitive kiddos. We are located inside of Liberty Mall, just north of Cincinnati, Ohio. Book your next hair appointment, hair party, or group class with Crown Kids, and let's keep those crowns looking right. For more information, just visit us at crownkidshair.com. Again, that's crownkidshair.com.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, class is back in session. So here's the big one when it talks about self-doubt. and we're going to go macro on this one. So let's do pass and review real quick, and then we'll hit you with the macro. Look forward. That's number one. Look forward to the completion. Look back is number two. Look back to past successes. Number three is literally combat. Literally combat. Psych yourself out. Number four is plan. Come up with a plan, come up with a strategy, and self-doubt will slowly start to dissolve. Now, number five, this is the one, like this is the big one. And again, this is a macro, but it is the big picture. And when I say big picture, we're actually talking about one question. What's the mission? Why did you even start? What's your why? Who's your why? Why is your why? Right? Like, if you're going to get to this point and doubt's going to creep in, you need to go back to what got you to take the first step initially. Whatever got you to take the first step initially is going to be the strongest emotion that you have to combat doubt. I will say that one more time because I felt like I needed to hear that. Whatever caused you to take the first step in your initial approach to your goals, your aspirations, and your dreams is going to be the strongest and your most effective emotional offensive against self-doubt. When you draw back to why you started this, who you started this for, what you wanted, the ultimate goal, most of you is generational wealth, most of you is financial freedom, that self-doubt will dissolve quickly. Because now you're doing it for, you're not just doing it for today. You're not just doing it for Monday. You're not just doing it for Tuesday. Now you're doing it for a generation, right? You're doing it for your legacy, for your children and your children's children. Now all of a sudden that confidence comes rushing back in. Hey, somebody got to do it. I'm about to crush it. And you go in, you button up your shirt, you adjust your collar, and you get to it. Right? So self-doubt is an emotion. It can often be an effective emotion. It can often be an emotion that can cripple you. It can often be the emotion that gives you the analysis paralysis. Right? When you're doing so much research that you don't even take the first step because you're doubting yourself. We all will come to a point where we doubt what we're doing. We doubt the cause. We doubt the effect. We doubt the purpose. We doubt our abilities. We doubt the people who are behind us. We doubt our support system. We doubt the outcome. We will all come to a point where we will face something similar to those. And I'm here to tell you that I'm just trying to give you some tools. Those 5 things, those 5 points. Number 1, look forward to completion. Number 2, look back on past successes. Number 3, psych yourself out. Number 4, plan. And number 5, what is your why? Why did you start? Draw back on that and move forward. That's what the School of HardKnox is here for. I hope you got something out of this week's episode. Just a quick little hitter. Let's go ahead and do our affirmation with our extra credit. All right, so the affirmation. Here we go. Even when I doubt myself, God does not doubt his investment in me. Look at that. Even when I doubt myself, God does not doubt his investment in me. Yeah. Here we go. Philippians 1:6. Being confident of this, that he who has begun. Let me start over if I don't mess up the word. Here we go. Philippians 1:6. Being confident of this, that he who begun a good work in you will carry it on to completion until the day of Christ Jesus. Did you hear what I just read? Did you hear what I just read? Being confident of this, he that begun a good work in you will carry it on to completion until the day of Christ Jesus. So even when you doubt you, the one that you call your father, the one that you call your Lord and Savior, does not doubt you. Yeah. Now we're going to move that from number 6 to number 1. How do you combat doubt? Well, God doesn't doubt me. And he knows the plan. He sits on high. He knows the beginning and the end. He's the Alpha and the Omega, the author and the finisher of your faith. So therefore, if he's got the plan, the process, and the outcome, and he's confident in you, hey, we just being selfish when we doubt ourselves. We just being emotional. So your extra credit for this week is very simple. I want you to write down those areas in your life where that self-doubt has crept in. Whether it's your relationships, whether it's you trying to be a parent, whether you're trying to be a business owner, whether you're trying to be a corporate person, whatever it is, ministry, whatever it is, where is that self-doubt? What areas in your life do you doubt yourself the most? And then I want you to employ those 5 things that we just talked about. I want you to employ those 5 things that we just talked about. Look forward, look back, psych yourself out, plan, and then go back to the foundation. Why did I start doing this? Who did I start doing this for? And ultimately, you need to know and you need to understand that if God has confidence in you, there's no reason to doubt yourself. Keep pushing. This has been the School of HardKnox podcast. I'm your host, Mark W. Knox. I'll see you next week. Class is dismissed. Thank you for listening to the School of HardKnox podcast. You can find our archives as well as new episodes by subscribing on Apple Podcast. Questions or concerns or feedback about the show? Message me directly on Instagram at the School of HardKnox. That's KNOX. Thank you for listening. See you next week.